When thinking about the term difficulty setting, the immediate thought would be something like easy, normal, hard, the standard progression. Some modern games like Wolfenstein 2, well, modern enough, takes a spin on difficulty levels to make fun of people who plays on what is objectively an easy level. Some games don't even let you choose the difficulty level and just throw you into his world setting and just make you fight a boss as a tutorial. I wonder if there's a genre for that. Rhythm games, on the other hand, don't really follow either of these conventional difficulty settings. Whereas you are confined to one difficulty setting, rhythm games allow players to challenge its levels, usually divided by the levels on respective difficulty settings, as many times as they want and whenever they want. This is very common in established rhythm games like Sound Vortex, DDR, etc. Introducing Osu, the rhythm game that is operated mostly by its own community members and players. Osu has a unique quirk, or at least it was unique when it was first ported to the PC in 2007, is that 99% of its levels are created by players, with the exception of the first few levels being created by the game's creator, Peppy. The levels are what we call beat maps, and most of the time, we follow the conventional naming methods when creating maps like easy, normal, hard. It is also required in the ranking criteria, the thing that determines whether people can play these maps to gain ranking points and compete against each other. Any beat map must adhere to the rules of having a balanced difficulty spread, aka easy, normal, hard, in order to get ranked. This actually has been a topic of discussion within the community whether the easy difficulty was really necessary in this day and age, as new players tend to jump into normal divs or maps that just blatantly way too hard for them. The difficulty spread also posed as a challenge for many new mappers wishing to rank their first maps, as having the knowledge to map something so mind-numbingly easy, like an easy difficulty, can be quite challenging, believe it or not. That's why they choose the alternative way of asking other people to make whatever difficulty that they don't want to make as a guest diff. Now, the purpose of these restrictions were made to make sure that the game can provide an intuitive and easy to learn, hard to master environment for players to flourish their skills with each subsequent levels. But what if there are too many of them? And I mean way too many, in one single beat map. One of the most popular mappers in the game, Sotarks, decided that he would gather well-known mappers and make an epic mega collab for Christmas. His ambition led to what is now Padoru/Padoru, with an overwhelming 25 difficulties shared across 22 different mappers. What makes this even more impressive is that when you take into account with how annoying the ranking criteria is and the community that overlooks what gets ranked or not, 22 different people coming together to rank one song is something to behold. That is, until we talk about this other mapper, Ryusei Aika. Ryusei Aika is a rather interesting mapper, as his take on mapping and how he decides to represent the medium in his mapping style created quite a bit of discourse. Think modern art, but in Osu. This map set went under the radar, as during this era of 2019, mappers that created maps to take advantage of the ever-changing performance ranking were at the center of the spotlight. Sotarks being at the forefront, for example. It's no surprising that this set went under the radar until a specific performance points rework made by Zexar that rewarded a certain niche skill set quite a bit, and it looks something like this. That's a map, alright. It's thanks to this surge of attention that it was pointed out just how many difficulties this map set had. A whopping 50 difficulties. If you thought Padoru was ambitious with 25 difficulties, think again. If you thought, oh, 50 difficulties, that must be insane, I wonder if it can get any bigger. It can. It definitely can. See, Osu has this restriction where each beat map has its own separate song folder, and that song folder cannot exceed 100 MB, or else the beat map will not submit online, thus rendering it impossible to be ranked. And there is also a limit of 128 difficulties allowed. It's interesting that Peppy set the limit to 128 instead of 64, since Ryusei Aika's Hitogata only went up to 50 divs. He must have thought there's no way someone would rank a map that would force him to increase that limit. On April 15th, 2024, Aika announced on Twitter that he was planning for another huge map set and asked his audience whether they wanted another 50 div map with different mappers this time, or 128 div map, because reaching the limit is funny. In a little under 7 months, Sekai o Inute was ranked, with 100 difficulties ranging from beginner to ultra, involving 99 mappers other than Ryusei Aika himself. This makes the biggest and most ambitious mapping collab in Hosu history, a collaborative effort to break Osu's limit in a different way rather than just playing the game. Here's a fun trivia about the map. It takes around 7 hours to SS every single difficulties in this map set. Surely, no sane person would do this in one sitting, right?